Hi, folks. Thanks for watching my monologue. As you may have heard, there's been a recent run on guns and ammunition. I just wanted to let you know that Guns Etc. is in a 10,200 square foot building which holds a lot of guns. So Guns Etc. is open and has a lot of product. Or you can go to gunsetc.com. That's gunsetc.com. And if you like my monologue, please subscribe to our channel using 960 The Patriot. Welcome back. Happy April 21st. A few weeks ago, I addressed the issue of work and government-mandated work stoppages. We've all known there was always a substrata of people in this country who do not want to work, who would rather take subventions than work. That, I suppose, will always be with us, but it's not the majority of us. Men generally want to and need to work. It is indeed a virtue. As John Witherspoon taught his students, including James Madison at the College of New Jersey, quote, "Do not live useless and die contemptible." What an odd thing, then, that there is contempt and derision for people who want to redress their government over the grievance of a government telling them they cannot work. We used to push and promote welfare reform that encouraged work, didn't we? As Dr. Bennett put it, ours is a country of men and women who began with little but a willingness to work and save and make good, not live useless and die contemptible. John Locke made a great case for modern industriousness in his second treatise on government. He wrote, quote, "God gave the world to men in common, but since he gave it them for their benefit and the greatest conveniences of life they were capable to draw from it, it cannot be supposed he meant it should always remain common and uncultivated. He gave it to the use of the industrious and rational, and labor was to be his title to it, not to the fancy or covetousness or the quarrelsome and contentious. He that had a good left for his improvement, as was always taken up, needed not complain, ought not to meddle with what was already improved by another's labor. If he did, it is plain he desired the benefit of another's pains, which he had no rights to, and not the ground which God had given him in common with his others to labor on, and whereof there was as good left as that already possessed, and more than he knew what to do with, or his industry could reach to." Close quote. If our children are to grow up to be among the industrious and rational, and not the covetousness or the quarrelsome, as John Locke put it, they must be raised with an appreciation of the importance of work. So too must our government encourage that. Work is the best way to teach and learn the virtues of its own rewards. As Locke put it, children like men hate to be idle. Industry comes naturally to children. Think about, as I've illustrated before, how they love to play store and build with blocks and Legos. They used to have erector sets, and open things like lemonade stands. Our founders understood this inherently as well, whether they learned it from John Locke or John Witherspoon or just human nature. As Benjamin Franklin put it, "Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time. That is the stuff life is made of." Industriousness, as it turns out, is a way to self-improvement. Sloth, indolence, these were actually once upon a time seen as sins. Why do we hate slavery? As Lincoln put it, "You work and toil and earn bread, and I'll eat it, no matter in what shape it comes, whether from the mouth of a king who seeks to bestride the people of his own nation and live by the fruit of their labor, or from one race of men as an apology for enslaving another race. It's the same tyrannical principle." Close quote. Or, echoing Genesis, as he put it in his second inaugural, we should not be, quote, "wringing the bread from the sweat of other men's faces," close quote. Or elsewhere, as Lincoln put it, property is the fruit of labor. Property is desirable. It is a positive good in the world. That some should be rich shows that others may become rich, and hence is just encouragement to industry and enterprise. Let not him who is houseless pull down the house of another, but let him work diligently to build one for himself, thus by example, assuring that his own shall be safe from violence. I take it, it is best for all to leave each man free to acquire property as fast as he can. Some will get wealthy. I don't believe in a law to prevent a man from getting rich. It would do more harm than good. Close quote. Just encouragement to industry and enterprise. Good words, those. Work was a theme for so many of those on Mount Rushmore, our greats. Theodore Roosevelt put it this way as governor of New York, quote, A life of ignoble ease, a life that peace which brings merely from lack either of desire or power to strive after great things, is as little worthy of a nation as of an individual. I ask only that what every self-respecting American demands from himself and from his sons shall be demanded of the American nation as a whole. Who among you would teach your boys that ease, that peace, is to be the first consideration in their eyes, to be the ultimate goal after which they strive? He went on. We do not admire the man of timid peace. We admire the man who embodies victorious effort. The man who never wrongs his neighbor, who is prompt to help a friend, but who has those virile qualities necessary to win in the stern strife of actual life. It is hard to fail, but it is worse never to have even tried to succeed. In this life, we get nothing save by effort. Freedom from effort in the present merely means that there has been stored up effort in the past. If man treats his periods of freedom from the need of actual labor as a period not of preparation, but of mere enjoyment, he shows that he is simply a cumberer of the earth's surface, and he surely is unfit himself to hold his own with his fellows, if the need to do so should rise again. A mere life of ease is not in the end a very satisfactory life, and above all, it is a life which ultimately is unfit for those who follow it for serious work in the world. He concluded, I preach to you then, my countrymen, that our country calls not for the life of ease, but for the life of strenuous endeavor. If we stand idly by, if we seek merely swollen, slothful ease and ignoble peace, if we shrink from the hard contests where men must win at hazard of their lives and at the risk of all they hold dear, then the bolder and stronger peoples will pass us by and will win for themselves the domination of the world. Let us therefore boldly face the life of strife, resolute to do our duty well and manfully, resolute to uphold righteousness by deed and by word, resolute to be both honest and brave, to serve high ideals, yet to use practical methods. Above all, let us shrink from no strife, moral or physical, within or without the nation, provided we are certain that the strife is justified, for it is only through strife, through hard and dangerous work, that we shall ultimately win the goal of true national greatness, close quote. Sorry to go on. I just thought it was a great tribute to the industriousness and work ethic of this country. Work to the founders and to us, I should think, was and is a public virtue for the benefit of our entire community. Industry and constant employment, Benjamin Franklin wrote, are great preservations of the morals and virtues of a great nation. To better our condition, as the founders put it, is nothing different from what we call pursuing the American dream. In 1986, President Ronald Reagan put it this way, quote, how many self-made men and women in America of all ethnic backgrounds owe their success to the strength of character given them by hard-working, loving parents? But for the children of child mothers and absentee fathers, there is often only a deepening cycle of futility, hopelessness, and despair. We're in danger of creating a permanent culture of poverty, as inescapable as any chain or bond, a permanent culture of poverty, a second and separate America, an America of lost dreams and stunted lives, close quote. A man out of work, as people like J.D. Vance and reams of social science show leads to quote a recent article in the New Yorker, is, quote, the lazy way out of responsibilities, and provides the choice instead of alcohol, drugs, welfare, disability checks, over and above a commitment to hard work, family, and community. And the price for such decadence is violence, addiction, emptiness, depression, and even suicide. There is a reason for our old saying, it turns out, idle hands are the devil's workshop. I worry about this a lot right now. Telling people not to work is the opposite of everything we've ever done here. Doing it as more and more evidence comes in that we are looking at something very much like the annual flu makes it hysterical. Now do schools. Closing schools and yanking 55 million children out of their educational and social structures over a disease that affects them hardly at all. After all, more children die from the flu than from the coronavirus is an experiment I fear the results of. Let me point out, while hundreds to thousands of children die from the flu each year and can communicate it, they simply are not at risk from the coronavirus, which has seen less than 10 of their deaths nationwide from COVID-19, all with comorbidities. Stopping work Stopping school? Yes, I'm sorry to be not with the supposed conventional dictates here, but it's simply not good, and simply not natural. Whirlwinds will come from these convulsions, which is why we were right all along. Work rather than welfare, education rather than lazy ignorance were, and should be not just our guideposts and beacons, but our morality for all our health, physical, mental, and civic. We shall not live useless and die contemptible here. I'm Seth Leibsohn. We'll be right back.